Hi, welcome. It's B. Welcome to BTU. I am going to try something new today. This may or may not work. This is truly new to me. I had no intentions of doing it this way, but I got to take in a couple notes just to keep myself refreshed on what I was thinking, and it was way too much. So, my hope is to do my first reaction video. As you know, I'm an opinionated person, and I really just want to share my opinion and some thoughts that I have and some things that just like reached out and grabbed me when this video started. So it just layered on from there because there's a lot. There's a lot in this little, well, it's 40 minutes. I'm going to try to play it at, I think it's 1.5 and hope it's not too. Please understand that this is not how she presented. It's in a faster speed. Of course, you can go watch it yourself, and that's everybody's showing it, so I'm sure you've already seen it. It's just this is my opinion to the situation. And go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate you. And let's try this. Ready? Okay. So this is the video, and I'm going to go ahead and let it start because I have a lot. Not a lot. I have some things to say.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. So I wanted to sit down and do a part 2 of my ex getting arrested on 5 felony charges.
Okay, sorry, right off the bat. This is part 2 of a 2-part on this topic of her ex, Reese, getting arrested. The first video was very controlled. There wasn't it was a lot of information, but it really didn't give you any information, if that makes any sense. So in that video, she mentioned that he had committed some domestic violence against her, some broken restraining orders, and that he had fired off a gun and had been arrested for drugs that were found in his apartment. So that was the gist of the first one. Like I said, please always make your own decisions and watch things for yourself. That's what I do. I listen to everybody who talks on this subject. I just want to say that I do. But I also have to see it for myself. I don't just take their word for what they watched. And so I expect you to do the same thing, or I hope you can. So let's go from there. That this is part 2, but this lays out the information that we've all been waiting for.
That was the last video that I posted. And man, there's so much more to it than just that one night. So in this video, I'm going to share the 5 days leading up to that event. I'm going to sit down with Jason, and he's going to share a lot more background and context.
Jason. Who is Jason? I think a lot of us know Jason as Jessica's boyfriend. So assumptions, opinions, it's been told to other YouTubers that it's a fact, but just assumptions and the way things are presenting, Jason's her boyfriend in my opinion.
Than I could give. And again, not just from that night, but from the last year that Jason and my ex were just really close friends and hanging out all the time. I'm also going to share with you guys videos of that night that he was arrested. The police report is public, and instead of just reading it to you, I'm just going to put it on the screen while we are talking, and I'm just going to do that to save time. Before I get into all of that, I do want to say that it is my intention to not only share my story, but to help educate people when it comes to domestic violence, PTSD, substance use, narcissistic or toxic relationships, and how to heal.
Okay. Jessica, you have no business educating anyone today on those topics. Substance abuse, okay, I'll let you have that one. But domestic violence, PTSD, see, this is why I'm doing it as an opinion piece and coming at it and doing a reaction video to it, because there's just so much to it. You haven't recovered. You haven't made it through to the other side. So for you to educate somebody on this is not education. And almost it's what not to do. So if you're watching this and you're having these issues, a lot of this is what not to do if these things are happening. Another part is the term of narcissistic abuse. Has she shown us domestic abuse? Absolutely. narcissistic abuse is labeled by a psychiatrist in treatment plans, and to our knowledge and to even her own words in another video, I don't have it for her, it may be in this later, but she has said, no, he hasn't been diagnosed, but I can see the signs. I have an education. I studied psychology. So with that, you're in no place yet to be educating anybody on these topics.
When you have experienced something like that. I know I've said this several times, but now that I have a little bit of time and distance, I can see so many red flags that I did ignore along the way. And it sucks, you know? It is not my intention to sit here and bash my ex on the internet. Since opening up about this online,
But you are.
there has been an outpour of love, constructive criticism, harassment, hate, videos where, you know,
Do not harass, show hate, anything to Jessica Kent, please. Whoever, anybody, do not do that.
Other content creators are just really picking apart and looking for inconsistencies, and some of it is valid. If I leave a big piece of the story out of any specific video, it is for a reason. It is because, usually, not always,
because you don't want us to know, typically.
It is because I intend to make a video on that specific thing, and that's what this video is today. In my last video, I did not tell you who checked on my ex and why. I didn't
We're going to know why pretty soon.
give any background or context to that because there was 5 days leading up to that we need to sit down and talk about. There was also 2 parole officers that needed to be notified that there was police contact. The last investigator that I spoke with told me that the police report wasn't going to be out for a week, so I had planned on filming this video, 4 or 5 days after I posted the first video.
But somebody sent it to Nicole first, and that upsets you deeply. Nicole has done a video on Nicole, if you don't know, if you're watching me, you probably know who Nicole is. She used to be Discovering Nicole. Her channel was taken down. She's now just Nicole. And then is it Nicole's Accountability? When I get around to it, I will link these in the description box so that you can go watch the videos yourself or any of her videos, because she's very informative on Jessica Kent. She has a lot of content for Jessica Kent.
Which was filmed the day before. That probably sounded confusing. But at the time of filming the last video that you guys saw, the police report was not out. I did not see it, didn't have a copy of it, and fully believed the investigator that I spoke to in Arkansas that we had a week to say that. It's also really messy and layered and confusing. And I think moving forward in filming videos like this, if it's not just giving advice when it comes to healing or leaving.
You're not healed. You can't give advice on healing at this point. You can give advice on how you're proceeding through the process and how things are happening. The court date hasn't even happened yet for some of these issues. So you're jumping the gun. You can't be healed until it's over.
An abusive person or a toxic person. I think it's easier for me when specifically talking about this timeline to sit down with someone that has been involved, or knows one of the two of us, has seen it and can think a little bit more clearly.
Knows one of the two of us. You're going to later say that it's different, but you just said knows one of the two of us.
Clearly, I have to keep a timeline in my phone because of all.
Sorry. She has to keep a timeline in her phone. I want you this is why people pick you apart. This is why people question things, because you're going to tell us you need to keep it in your phone because you can't keep it straight.
Of the things that I'll forget, and there'll be small things like dates or times or what have you, and if I didn't keep a detailed record of everything,
very valid too. I'm not saying that that's not I had to do that to some degree. I wasn't then making videos on it. My abuse happened, well, it didn't end until 5 years ago, but in completion. But a lot happens. Your brain goes through traumatic events. If she's going through these issues, then she's going to forget things. That's okay, and that's not what I'm just saying. The inconsistencies and the back and forth and you're so educated and going to educate us on it, and problems.
Man, there's probably so much that I would forget, and that happens when you've gone through what I've gone through. So I promised you guys a few months back that I wouldn't just tell you something, I would show you. I'm not going to post a video talking about all of this, which is loud and messy and confusing and layered. I'm not going to post a video about this without receipts, without evidence, because I could tell you all day long that I'm good, I'm safe, I'm doing things for the right reason, or it happened this way, but I need to just show you. I know it seems very one-sided.
Very much an edited video. I hope that everybody's catching these switches in the And, no, people edit. That's not a thing. But if it's very much from your heart and it's very real and raw, I don't understand how many edits, why so many edits. And I want to say too, this is on 1.5, but when I watch it in normal speed, she's very relaxed and calm and fact forward in her statements. And I want you to take notice of her demeanor and how she's poised, but she's very relaxed in her speaking.
Because I am on camera and I'm sharing all of this. My ex was probably, I would give him this advice too, but probably advised by his lawyers to not get on camera and not say a single thing because he has to build a defense. And for the first time in my life, I'm in a very weird position where I don't have to build a defense. I know my story. I know my truth. The truth doesn't die. The truth doesn't waver. The truth is always there. And I can share that with you. I also
Did you catch that? She'll get more depth here.
truly believe that abusive people get more power when you're silent. I'm not glad that he was arrested in Arkansas for all of these felonies. It scares me for my kids. I don't want him to go to prison. That sucks. That really sucks. Does he need help? Yeah.
I don't believe that giving your abuser silence gives them more power. I don't. You're feeding that beast. If I'm still hypothetically, you're saying these things, I'm going on what you're saying, and you're saying these things are happening, you're saying these things, you are feeding a wild animal and wondering why you're getting bit. So think about that. So you don't have this under control like you think you do. You speaking on it, I would advise you to not speak publicly about this until there's a conclusion to the whole situation. Not only his legal situation, your protective situation, child custody situations. If you want to say, I would think his lawyer advised him not to speak. Is anybody advising you? Because you shouldn't be speaking either. I'm not saying to take your voice away, but to protect your case, to protect your situation.
Yeah. But if that's not rock bottom, I really don't know what is. I said that to say this. It might feel one-sided because you guys are just hearing from me, but my ex is feeding drama channels misinformation in an attempt to just destroy my credibility. And I'm not too worried about it because
you have 1 million followers here, TikTok, Facebook's, Instagrams, you have it all, correct? I mean, what does he have, and who is he reaching, and why are you so worried about it? If it's not true, if there's no truth in what he's saying, it's not going to affect you. It's not even going to happen. So why are you giving that life? Why are you concerned about it, and very concerned about it? So again, go watch Nicole and you will see how concerned these people are.
because I know the truth. I know what happened. My dogs are fighting with the neighbor dogs right now. I can tell my story every which way, front to back, backwards. I could tell it in reverse. I could tell it in my sleep. Okay, that was like extremely rambly. Anyway, I'm going to leave.
She can tell it forwards and backwards in her sleep. And again, do you need notes, or can you, because you lived it and it happened and it's the truth, let it fly? There's two. See, this is why people pick you apart. And can you have it both ways? Absolutely. But this is why you shouldn't be speaking publicly about this situation until there's a conclusion to the situation.
Timestamps in the description box down below because I know this is going to be pretty long, but I love you guys. And if you have gone through this or you're going through this, I'm so sorry. No one deserves this. No one deserves this.
Are you looking to change your mood? Well, these are full spectrum infused gummies from Hello Mood. I've been trying mood products for about a month.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. So I wanted to kind of do a part 2 of the last video that I posted about my ex being arrested. I wanted to sit down with Jason, who is here today.
I want you to, like I said, it's sped up to 1.5. So she seems to be talking faster. That's just me. That's me manipulating the video and transforming it and getting it to where I can get this out without taking 4 hours to do it. But I want you to pay attention to her. She's very stiff. She's very meek and mild and drawn into herself. She won't look up to him very often. Like it's like an acting. I'm sorry. It is. It's like acting. But anybody that's been through a toxic relationship, whether there's domestic violence or not or whatever, I encourage you, and you, until you spend some time alone with yourself and process all that you've been through, you're not healed. So as long as you're with Jason, as long as you have Jason as your friend, and we'll get into more of that, of what he's contributed to your situation, you're not going to be any different. It's not going to be any different. You have to learn to love yourself by yourself without someone, a male, not even male, a companion, a support that is a companion to you. You have to.
And just present you guys with facts. As someone that has gone through this cycle of abuse with this person, with my ex, it kind of became a habit to document everything and keep record. And as much as I don't want to explain and then re-explain and defend myself, it's kind of a trauma response, right? I know what happened. He knows what happened. So does my.
More edits. Did you catch it? They're all throughout the whole thing. If this is your story and this is what happened, too many edits.
Ex. And I think there are some people within this very messy situation that don't really know, who he is or the manipulation that's taken place. And it's frustrating. It's super easy to just point at me and say, oh, it's my crazy ex-girlfriend. And that's just not the case. So that's why we're sitting here today, to present you with facts instead of just me ranting and raving and rambling. I want to leave as little room for speculation and misinformation as possible. So I don't really know where to start, though.
I hung out with Reese for a year. Reese was kicking like
I've been hanging out with Reese for a year.
buddy every day, all the time, everywhere. So people don't know all that. There's no bits and pieces.
Had Reese ever spoke to Matt prior?
We did a video. I talk to Matt a lot, and I video chat with everybody. Even when I'm always video chatting or on speakerphone. I had planned with Reese to go down to Arkansas. We're gonna go down together.
So how Reese knows Matt, and we'll get into who Matt is, but he said it out of his own mouth. Yeah, Reese knows Matt. Reese knows Matt because I video chatted with him. I video chatted with Matt, and Reese was in the proximity that Matt was on my phone while I was talking to Matt. So Reese knows Matt. So really, I mean, you're not saying you sat down and hung out and drank beers together, partied, or done anything. You video chatted a man. Reese was somewhere in the vicinity, even if he's sitting shoulder to shoulder with you. Reese knows this man? Okay, hold on.
And Matt was one of the people we were gonna run into down there. Then we went to my house, and he ended up flaking out on me, and you guys went down there, and he did that too.
So just to give a little bit more context to that. So my ex had told him that, they would go to Arkansas together. I had no knowledge of that. And this was at the time where I was like working on closing on my home. And I was living in a hotel with our daughters. And
I just want to stop already. Jason was in prison. It's come out that Jessica and Jason were having an email affair, relationship. Sexual emails were flowing back and forth while Jason was in prison and Jessica was with Reese. So that's now we're supposed to fast forward. Jason just got out of prison not too long ago, and with at least a year, because he hung out with Reese for a year. And Reese is hanging out with him, the man that Jessica secretly was having sexual emails with. Okay.
And my ex was, I even have the text message still. He was trying to pressure me, trying to get me to go to Arkansas with him. And when I said, no, you go, see your family, do whatever.
Pressure her to go. And it may very well be, but in this message here, Jessica, come on, come be a family and go to Arkansas to have a family Thanksgiving. I see a lot of pressure there. Maybe things were happening. I'm not denying that, but this is what you show out of, I'm sure you have. I am positive from what I've seen from Jason and all of this, that you have a whole slew of messages, and this is what you choose for the pressuring.
I'll be here with the kids. If it's okay, I would like to, go home to his place, maybe cook Thanksgiving dinner, maybe pack some things up while you're not here. That way we're not in the same space and we're not fighting or whatever. When that didn't work, he tried to then make me jealous with some other girl, and it was just very manipulative. And this was a 2 or 3 day ordeal of him just putting pressure on me to go with him. And finally I agreed, and I don't know why. I was probably exhausted, just like, fine, I'll go. Jason had no knowledge of me going down there until I was there. While I was in Arkansas,
Another edit. Okay, so I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at her videos. Y'all can certainly do that if you want to. I do remember, I recall watching it where she escaped the house and went to a motel room. I don't know what time period that was, but she just spoke of it, and it was sometime before this, and this was Thanksgiving of this past year. So November, December, so maybe October. But in November, she's talking about Thanksgiving, and we just hit June 1st. So we've had 5 months. So like 7 months that this is all happening that she's speaking on now. And she went to a motel room. She was sat in the floor and cried in the bathroom. And I'm not making fun of you, Jessica, but who puts that shit online? Who does that? You have kids that they know your channel. You're celebrating your 1 million with them. They know what you're doing. You may think that they're not watching this right now because you're controlling it, but look at how many videos are made about this, and you and mine included, that you're putting this on the internet. You sat in that bathroom and cried with your knees up and your hands on your knees, and what do I do? I've had to leave the home and take the kids, and we're staying in a motel room, and all of this is happening, and I'm not, please understand, people who are abused tend to go back. They do. They absolutely tend to go back. So I've done it myself. So I'm not, but you put this on the internet. I didn't have the internet. I was alone. Okay, let's back up. I didn't have the money for a motel room. I had children. I had to think about that issue too. I mean, it's very stressful. I know what you would be going through, but I couldn't get a motel room. I didn't have even, I don't know how many you had at that time. You just hit 1 million. So let's go with, you're way over 100,000. You've gotten that play button a long, long time ago that I've been watching. So well over 100,000 people watching you cry in that bathroom. And then you went back. Well, you went to Arkansas. You're going to get into how you did go, and you went to Arkansas.
My ex essentially held me and our kids hostage, going through tablets and screens and all of that stuff. I texted Jason a text, and this is why it's so long and confusing, because there's so many layers to this. But I texted him and told him about what happened a couple weeks prior, where he kept me. He almost killed me in our bathroom. So for me to go to Arkansas with him at that point, I don't know why I did.
Do you have a police report for that? And I nobody would be questioning you if you weren't making such a big deal about this. Y'all have no idea. My blood pressure's up. Everything's going on right now because you had people to reach out to. You had money to get you motel rooms. You had ways and means to escape. And I'm not blaming you for going back, but you just now let out that you were nearly killed in your bathroom 2 weeks before this happened. Then you were in Arkansas and he held you hostage. Is there a police report for that, ma'am? He held you hostage, and all you talk about is him going through your phones and your tablets. Is that okay? No. But I also watched you talk about going through phones and stuff was okay. If you weren't a narcissist, you wouldn't be cheating. There was a whole thing you did about cheating and going through the phones, and you got to watch what you're on the internet. The internet is forever. You've spoke on this topic when it favored you for going through his belongings. You spoke on this in your favor, that he was a narcissist and cheating on you. So it was okay to go through his belongings. And if he said anything back to you in a negative way about it, that's him being a narcissist and coming, reversing it, twisting it on you. So you have to understand where some of this comes from, and it's from your own mouth and your own actions.
It was like, just give him his way, and then maybe nothing bad will happen. I don't know why I went down there. So I remember telling you during that time, like, listen, he's been like physically abusive, and maybe I haven't been very clear in the past. My ex was not physically abusive to me until the relapse, and that's what makes it really hard for me to like
My ex was not physically abusive to me until the relapse. And let's back up. I've said it in another video. Abuse is abuse is abuse. There's emotional abuse, there's financial abuse, there's sexual abuse, there's physical abuse, there is abuse, there is verbal abuse. Any of those are abuse, regardless, straight out abuse. But she just said there was no physical abuse until he relapsed. Now listen to Jason.
Like, figure out where is this? Is it just a substance use that makes him violent? The emotional stuff I can see was abuse throughout all of it because I have distance and time, but he wasn't physically abusive until he started using.
I was told today by someone that he's always been using. He never stopped. He's always was using coke all the time since you guys were together, like doing lines here and there at work with his buddies and stuff.
Really?
Huh?
Like our whole relationship?
Yeah, you didn't know that. He just when he came out here, he tried to run with the big dogs and fell off the porch. He was always using. He was always doing something. He was always, that's the statement he made to these people that know him.
He's always been using. He's always been using. Which is it? Does Jason know because he was in prison? Or do you know and you don't know? Do you see where this is what makes people question everything about it? Because it's in video, it's in recording, it's there to be questioned. So don't get upset when people question you. And that look on your face that, oh, me? He did that to me? I mean, I feel like it's a drama, stage drama.
And know us, and I don't know if we say their names or not.
I don't like to do that. I don't like to say, I won't even say my ex's name anymore, like, ever again. But we didn't have.
Okay. From someone didn't want to say my ex's name anymore. It's a whole thing. So when I finally came to terms with, we had to co-parent or had to have children, combined children, had children between us. You're kind of stuck with this person. I got a feeling she's working on getting him out like the other daddy, but we'll just go there. But while you're stuck with this person to some degree, even if it's just for child support and you never have to exchange the children or anything, they still haven't truly separated over this car and some financial stuff and whatever. But there's some things that you have to treat that person like a bad business partner. You're stuck with them. You're definitely stuck to some degree. So calling them Mr. So-and-so makes them like the stranger that you contact at the bank. Do you know what I mean? It loses that personality, the personal connection to that person. You have to make it to where they're human, they're your children's father, your child's father, but you have to put that emotional separation there. Mr. So-and-so would be not only proper for your children, but proper for you, and give you that space that you need. That by saying my ex, you see how you're connected to him? Totally connected. So let's try again.
The best relationship in the world, but when it was good, it was really good, and when it was bad, it was really bad. And I know a lot of people can understand that. And my hope is to make these videos, share my story, educate people about domestic violence and narcissistic or toxic abuse that you might encounter or experience or see. So education is the goal. And then I've learned a lot along the way, and I would like to share that with people that have gone through it. So it's not malicious. I'm not trying to film these videos to out someone that has abused me, but you lose the right to privacy when you almost kill somebody, when you emotionally abuse somebody, when you
lose your right to privacy when you put this on the internet.
Do all of the really bad things that he did. And like I said in my first video, if you don't want people to know you do fucked up shit, don't do fucked up shit. So we are where we are. So moving forward.
People like him, they can wear a mask that you don't even know. Like every time you meet some people, goes, oh, he's a good dude. He's when you hang around him for a long time, you know what he is. Because you can't hold it forever, And I'm not the best influence, and
yeah, you're a whole ass red flag.
Yeah, I'm a big sure. Oh, yeah. And he tries to.
He is definitely a whole ass red flag. Go watch Nicole's videos, what he's doing to her, to Mindy. He'll later admit to some stuff in this video. Pay attention. Pay attention to Jason. Pay attention to who he is to Jessica. Pay attention that he is in that home where her children are. Pay attention.
You like the people around?
Yeah, he mirrors people.
Yeah,
that's what that's called.
People have been in the streets a long time and see shit like that, because that's what we go off. I seen what it was. There was times I was with him and I just couldn't stand his ass, you know, because he'd be so arrogant, so fucking,
Yeah.
you know, he'd say off the wall shit and piss me off, and I'd be like, man, just fuck this dude, you know.
Jason entered chat in my life again, December of 2022. So
Okay, so timeline. She's giving it to us, right? He's been with Jason. Jason's been with Reese for a year. We're today's first of the 6 months, so we're not even 6 months here. She said December, so that would give 6 months for December through May. She just gave us a scenario that happened in Thanksgiving 2022. So now he enters her picture December 2022, according to her.
he spent an entire year being buddy with my ex. He was team my ex the whole time.
How did he enter her life when she was with Reese up to that point a year ago? Do you see this? This is the problem. It doesn't make sense.
For a year. I mean, I really didn't talk to him that much.
She would catch me on the camera going to the house, and then she tried to come get me. I ran out the door. I didn't even talk to her.
I'm like, oh, where are you? And
I'm running
away from me. I ran in the house, and I just wanted to talk to you. I wanted you to look me in the eye and tell me like some things that was going.
Why was Jason, even if they were friends, Jessica and Jason friends, or they were writing each other sexual emails while he was in prison. So
I couldn't. I was a drug addict. I was in my addiction and being a dirtbag.
Sorry, I was in my addiction. I don't know if you picked that up. I'm sorry if you didn't. Let me see if I can. See if it goes.
And tell me like some things that was going on.
I couldn't. I was a drug addict. I was in my addiction and being a dirtbag. And I'll let you know.
I was a dirtbag. I was in my addiction. So this to me is where I'm starting to question. Was Jason using with Reese? Was Jason part of the problem with Reese in Jessica's mind relapsing during that time? Because it's all coming together in their timeline. Look at the timeline.
I'm not judging you for that. Like, there's a lot of things I can forgive, you know. I just can't forgive malicious intent. So Jason enters chat in my life again in December of 2022, the beginning of December. So at that time, you didn't know how horrible he was being to me. You heard one version, which was his side, and I'll let you tell them what you thought the whole time.
You know, it was always she's trying to keep the kids from me. I'm moving out and she won't leave. She's going to pack her stuff and she stays here all day and don't pack nothing. And
where does this fit in? He didn't enter her picture till December, but he was in her house before that year. This is not making sense. And I think drug use and addiction has some mind-altering timeline here.
All the shit, and you know, he wanted me, when you guys in Arkansas, to go to the house and clean out your shit and put you in storage and take your Jeep from you and all that shit. And we weren't kicking it at homies, but I'm not going to do malicious shit to you. You know what I mean? I was out.
I want to pick on Jason's appearance. I know some ex-addicts. I've never been an addict. I've been honest with that I can't be on that side of this. I've been the daughter of, the wife of, but never the addict. So I can't speak from that point of this, but I've seen this look. I know this look. And can people, if you use long enough, can you still have this look? Absolutely. Absolutely. Without using, you can. It can be a tick, and it may be mentioned here somewhere in this. But I went back and looked at some videos from a year ago, and I didn't notice these mannerisms and these ticks and the jaw tightening up, and not necessarily because there's people, I'm not trying to. The jaw, it looks like they're chewing something but sideways, like a cow chewing cud, where the jaws go sideways versus up and down. It's a thing, and he looks like he's very stiff here, and I've seen that before in usage. And could it be residual? It absolutely could be. But if you go back and look at some old videos that she's done with him and talked about him getting released from prison and things, he's not doing this. So from the time being released to prison till now, where did this residual come from?
I heard you like that, you know. He tried to get the dog and one of my buddies, you know, little bully. And we wouldn't let that. I didn't let that happen. You know, there's a lot of things that he wanted to do, but I never let it happen, so I didn't do it.
That's why the dogs are on order protection.
Yeah.
So when you come back on the scene, it's just me and the kids here.
You don't even know we moved in here.
No,
and shit,
yeah, I had just gotten here, and I was packing at the house. I had a packing schedule, but I was also working full time, so it wasn't easy to pack up a huge house. But anyway, you came back in because I had called him one day. I got scared, and I called Jason to just come over and sit here because if there is a man around, that might curb my ex's aggression. The kids are here. It's just me. I don't want to call the cops. That was the first time that you actually saw with your own two eyes. I'm not the crazy.
Why don't you want to call the cops? Why don't you want to call the cops? You have kids in this situation, and you call a felon to your home to be with your children and you instead of calling the cops. You're not making you're not making good decisions. You're just not.
Easy, better baby mama. I'm not stalking him. I'm not doing these things he's saying.
What wasn't that? When I was here, I parked down the street. I came over, walked over, came in the house, and he showed up, started setting out the Jeep alarm in the garage and doing all this crazy shit. Fucking, I need the Jeeps, being a repo and being a like creepy motherfucker, like I don't know, Jack Nicholson, he's shiny,
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, you're like, just don't
And I do agree that that's not okay. That is not okay. But explain to me, Jessica has now left, got a motel room, purchased her own home, not rental, purchased her own home, moved. Why does Reese know where she's at? If you go to those links, you can meet on public ground, you can exchange kids in another location or at the police station or a family place that you go in the back door, they go in the front door, and the kids are done through the services. I mean, if it depends on what level you're at in this, but why is Reese at her home? And my opinion, this is all about my opinion. She was wishy-washy with them. She was in, she was out, she was in, she was out. She hooked up. Maybe she thought for the better of the kids. I'm not saying that it's wrong because it kept it going, but I'm not saying she's wrong for her thinking on, well, we've been together all these years, or we have children together, or this, that, the other. I'm just, she brought that part to her door, and she had to have. And I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying I do believe there's more to these text messages. I believe there's more to all of this. I believe there's more. It wasn't that she left that day and went to that motel room, because obviously she went to Arkansas with them after that. We're going to hear some other stuff somewhere along the line that I don't know, it'll come. But if you're in an abusive situation, it's hard mentally to leave. It is. I understand that. It's, what's happening in your home. You know what that feels like. You don't know. Most people don't know where they're going to put their head down at night, how their kids are going to get to school the next day, or if they have to change schools, or just there's a lot that goes into it. Not everybody that I'm speaking to is a successful, financially stable, has this income to be able to get a motel room, buy another car, buy another house. We're not all in that position, and I get it. So I understand that. I'm talking about Jessica. And the reason I'm talking about her is because she put it online. She put this under the public scrutiny and the public eye. She's doing it for us to scrutinize Reese. But it's not working. We're scrutinizing you and what you've done. I'm going to try to do 175 for a minute to see if it'll go any faster for us, because this is going to take forever, and I'm not trying to hold you captive. So I'm trying.
I'm sitting there watching. But what got me was when he called me. He's like, yeah, she's at it again, and she's doing this, she's doing that. I'm like, motherfucker, what do you mean? I'm at your house. I'm at the house right now. He's like, you're at my house. I'm like, no, I'm at her house, motherfucker. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm sitting at her house right now, and I witnessed you setting out the Jeep alarm and all this. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm like, no, I seen you at the door. And that was the first, he was lying. I caught him lying. I caught him in what he was doing, and it was just like fucked up. And all the shit he was saying was, he lost all credibility with me. Then he like, oh, you're at the house with my kids, and this is that. Well, I'm gonna come back here right now. I said, well, come back here. I'm waiting for you. I went out there, put the ring doorbell on, and told him, come on, let's go, get in front of right now. And he sent me back a text. And said, I'm gonna.
He just challenged him to a fight in his front yard of Jessica's house. Your kids are in the house. You've said that. You said, I have my kids here. I need a man here to see what's going on, to stop this. You said that. So the man you bring in is instigating physical violence or asking for physical violence to your ex on your front lawn of your new home, make this make sense, Jessica. Make it make sense.
Guess what? She's in the house. First time ever, huh?
First time ever. And, you know, now I'm trying to tell him everything that's been going on. But even when we were in the hotel, I was getting wellness checks at my door from the hotel saying, your dad called. I'm like, my dad doesn't know what hotel I'm in. I didn't tell my dad what was going on because I don't want my family to worry. Now, that was back in October. So I'm at the hotel getting wellness checks done by the staff at the hotel. Then I move into the house. I'm getting wellness checks done by cops in my face at 2 a.m. Or the cops, DCFS is at my door. So I've been investigated by DCFS for 4.
And I believe that this happened. But I also believe that some viewers who I don't think it's okay, but I do believe some viewers have contacted people also. I don't believe this is 100% Reese. I just don't. If you can show differently that each and every instance is his name, go right ahead. But I believe that this is also based on you putting stuff on the internet that people have called for your safety or for the idea that they need to check on your children. That's my assumption, my opinion, but I believe that.
Months straight. They just closed the second case just the other day. So for 4 months, DCFS has investigated me on 2 separate cases, same allegations.
But you said it was closed. See, and I understand you not coming on, hey, I got a new case. I totally understand that. But do you remember telling us how you didn't have those drug tests come out that way and all that stuff, and it was totally closed? Do you remember that?
Both unfounded. And it's just exhausting. So
it gets to the point where, you know, I've been here a couple times that they came, and it gets to the point where you're just so fucking aggravated. I'll yell at the cops out, get the fuck out of here, you know. And
compare notes, dude. Like,
yeah, if they don't, first shift don't tell, second shift don't tell, third shift, whatever the fuck. It is, all hours of the night, they're showing up over here. You know, I'll be here doing work, fixing something, or doing something, and next, you know, the cops at the door. You know what I mean? Get Jessica. I'm like, she's sleeping, get the fuck out of here. You know, like, oh no, we can't get her. I'm like, you ain't get in. You know, you gotta come down and settle me down. Tell him, and
she has to come down and settle him down in the middle of the night. Why are you there in the middle of the night, Jason? Because you're having a relationship with each other. Do you see the problem here? This is not an unbiased opinion. This is not, she's still in her meek little mode over there. So let's not forget that. And then we have abusive, aggressive Jason. To her, I'm not saying that, but he just said it towards Reese. So you're not changing. You still have the children under these conditions, and it's not okay, Jessica. It's not okay. They need just as much safety and time and distance between all of this as you do.
I fucked up the other cop, you know, because they got no rights. They didn't follow law, they didn't follow law. And what he was doing is basically using them to harass you. And I tell them that all the time in the videos, you know, we got 3 doorbells in it. What's his concern? Hey, what's up, Jessica here? I don't know. What's his concern? I'm not going to give you.
Sorry, is Jessica here? Is Jessica here? They have to check on her, and they don't know if this person's the bad person or what's happening. So it's a legit thing, but
I'm going to tell you utmost respect. You come at me crazy, I'm going to do anything to you at all. At all.
This is the 15th time you guys been here.
For me, it's the first. And I apologize. Whoever were here before, but I'm looking to talk to Jessica.
Okay, about what?
In regards to her children.
So let me guess, Judge Klein called?
Exactly. Listen, brother, I don't know anything about him, okay? I'm just trying, all I got to do here is make sure.
Listen, there's order of protection against Judge Klein.
Make sure the kids are fine, and I'm out of here.
Judge Klein is order of protection against him. He's making you violate his order of protection. You know that?
I don't know that.
Okay, well, it's in your order. There's order of protection.
Okay, I'm not arrested man in Arkansas. So let me talk to Jessica.
Okay, I mean, but she's not here.
Why? I got to keep knocking to make sure I got to make sure the kids are fine.
Do you understand why this cop needs to see these children or Jessica and know that everything's okay? What if they're not? What if they're in the bathroom floor with a black eye bleeding out? I mean, you do understand why they need to see this? And you just said 15 times. She showed 6 screenshots that I don't know if duplicates from different angles or I don't know because this is how you're presenting it. You're editing this. You're giving us this picture. You're doing this, but you fighting with the cops that are trying to fight for her safety is ridiculous. You're aggressive. You have a problem.
We can do this all night. I can pay for it. So I'm
here all night too. You know what I'm saying?
So what's the problem?
The problem is we go through every fucking day with this guy.
Okay, well,
when you guys don't realize it's a fucking bullshit thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've had wellness checks done on me by cops and DCFS and hotel staff for months and months and months. I probably have 3 dozen videos that I could show you of that. So let's fast forward to this incident.
And I'm sure that's very aggravating and upsetting and everything else, but take it up with the court. Do these checks. Get a report saying the check was done, everything was fine. It was a false reporting. The police are even better than having the false reports with CPS. You don't understand that? to have those people on your side having to waste their time if that's true. But see, this is what you're presenting to us. So this is what we have to go with. So I don't understand how you think you're doing the right thing. I don't understand how you think your children are in the right home and position and everything else. I just don't. This is my opinion. You're not doing the right thing.
Come by his house and get the property. You rent the U-Haul truck. We go over there with the intent to get the property. He's sitting there with his friend, drinking beers at fucking 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. It must be before he did with the kids.
Noon.
Like, he's in there drinking beers, and it's like, no, you can't come in. You know, and we already rented the truck, everything. We already rented everything. So I lost my shit. You know, I'm screaming, yelling, telling him to come outside. You know, and he ain't coming outside.
Well, you don't lose your shit until the cops show up. You're not yelling at him at first.
But he's not going to jail. You're going to jail. They can't. You know, I'm like, okay, we'll see. They can't. You know, through the back door. You weren't back there when I was young.
Okay. I might fast forward through some of this because it is what it is. And do we know Reese was truly sitting there drinking beers? There's no police report. Do we know this? It sounds logical. I'm not denying that this is the scenario and this is what went down, but there's a lot left to question on is this being presented the way it went down? Did she just say, I'm coming to get my shit on Friday? Here's what you should have done, Jessica. Here's what you should have done. Here's what your lawyer should have done. You should have come to an agreement on property. You should have went before a judge and had a judge make an order of pickup order of those items on that list that you agreed on, because you're going to go on. I'm going to end up fast forwarding. I know I am, but I want y'all to know what happened and what could have happened and made this. I'm not saying it all would have went smoothly. I'm just saying. So she and Reese made some sort of agreement between their lawyers about picking up some property. They had an agreed list. So she rents a U-Haul and shows up. Does she show up at the right day, the right time, the right everything? We don't know, because if you had a court order, and it doesn't take anything, you don't have to go to court. The judges, if you have an agreement between the two parties and your attorneys, the judge will sign off on it. You have that order in your hand. You call the police department for a civil standby and take that order with you, and you go and get those items on that list. And he can't argue it. He cannot. That you'll have the police to make a report how he did and what went down. Do you see where you caused a problem here? And then taking this jackass with you and his attitude, you can't see that you're creating a bigger problem for yourself. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So they go to pick up this stuff, and Reese says no, is what they're telling us. And kind of laughs at how they call the police and they get the patio furniture because it's outside, and he's mad because they took the patio furniture. You know, it all, I'm sure it sounds logical. It sounds logical, but did you do it the right way in the first place? I don't know, because you're not showing any proof. This is your story. This is your version. This is how you're presenting it with edits and some flashy back and forth between you and Jason. Sit next to each other on the couch and have this talk. Both of you on camera. I'm not saying, you know, it's just, it's very a presentation. You were putting on a presentation.
When I first showed up and I seen the cleaning lady, whatever it was. He's in there, you know,
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now,
I screamed at him, 74, can I go smack the camera up in the air? And the cop said, he just moved the camera. I said, you know what, fuck that. He bought it. I ripped the camera off the wall and fucking take it with me and throw it in.
So now he's destroying property at the house that Jessica and Reese used to share because he's upset. He's violent. He's doing these things. This is no better, Jessica. This is no better.
And I just started taking my car around outside the house. You know?
We also have an itemized list that he agreed to, and that includes the patio furniture that I paid for. I care. Tell them what I wanted.
The baby books.
Baby books. I'm like, I don't care about anything else. I don't care about a table. Like, I want the baby books. And
So the second day they go back, Reese agreed to, okay, come back. And do we know that for sure? Do we know he even agreed to the first day? We don't. We don't at all. This is her version. They go back. They use the key to get in. And then she's going to go on to tell us that he accused her of breaking and entering. Is there a police report? You know, just there's a whole lot to this that they're adding, and there's a lot of aggression. It's a lot.
As long as it was on the receipt of your bank statement, it came with us. I'm broken chicken. Because you have no background, no nothing, because you got expunged and all that shit. And we look like the fucking criminals.
I'm used to that, but
I am too, that's why I know the law.
I do just want to say, like,
Okay, so earlier they said they had to call 2 probation officers. Whose probation officers had to be called? Yours and Jason's, because of what y'all were doing? Because you just said that Reese didn't have a record because he got his expunged, and he looks like an angel and you look like 2 criminals. This is And it's possible that, I mean, my ex got away with all kinds of things. He got charges reduced, so it looked like he had, you know, public intoxication when it was a full-on drunk driving with an accident, you know. So I understand that things happen like that, especially in the legal system, but this is your version. This is what you're portraying to us. So this is why we question it.
Even though he's done everything he's done to me, even though you know what it is, you still don't want him to be harmed, you know, so the kids don't have.
No, I don't want
He's tearing up the house. He's doing things that if things were to have settled down, kids would go visit there. What happened to that? Oh, mommy's boyfriend did that. I mean, do you see the problem? You don't, because you have a method to keeping the kids away from him at this point. And I see it. I know it. I've been there. Do they need to be in a safe situation? Absolutely. Can you do it through supervised visitations and things like that? Absolutely. So you're doing this out of spite to some degree.
I don't have no, I like him. You know, we talk all the time, and he's changed up on me. You know, don't get wrong. I'll fucking fight him in front of everyone. Afterwards, have a beer and kick it. You know, I'm not fucked up about it. That's the way things go.
I could kick his ass and we could sit down and have a beer and kick it. This is a man that has abused your girlfriend, friend, female friend. And you could do all that? Could you? Could you, Jessica? Could you sit down with Reese and drink a beer if everything just settled down and y'all went your merry ways? That's ridiculous to me, honestly.
Oh, I don't hold grudges.
You really aren't.
But he's being too smug with this shit. He was all him hollering about we robbed him and this and that. And
He's being too smug. He's being too smug. Of all the things that she said he's done to her, you're concerned about him being smug?
So his demeanor changed.
He really changed up when he didn't get his way. He's very used to getting his way. But in the process of moving my stuff out of the house, we just happened to see an insurance policy that he took out, which is what I mentioned in the first video. So
this is ongoing investigation, and we are persons of interest, according to Mr. Klein.
So when the cops called and told me that, I just shrugged it off. I'm like, whatever, dude, we didn't break in. But then I'm unpacking everything and I see the insurance policy and I'm like, wait, were you trying to set me up for a B&E? Even though he's done all of these things, wellness checked me.
Explain yourself, Jessica. I can kind of pick up what you're putting down, but what's the date of the insurance policy? Was it a renewal to a previous policy? You always said that Reese was handling those things, that you couldn't handle those things, that he was the one that handled the finances and the home and the upkeep and the payments and with your money is what you said. So I'm not trying to take that from you. Let me make that clear. But you've always said that he handled the home upkeep responsibilities, and I don't mean like cleaning the dishes. I'm trying to, like, I don't know, the insurance, the mortgage payments, those things. You've always said that. So are you just bringing this out of your butt because this all went down, or is this something that he took out the week before? Do you understand the problem? There's more problem.
47 times with cops in my face, which is very triggering to me because I've been to prison. I've been, guns in my face, put on the ground, and that was all my own fault, right? I went to prison. I'm very triggered with cops, and he knows that. So
Me too.
Yeah.
I get aggravated and aggressive with him.
Yeah, I start taking and crying. Even though all of this has happened, even though he's done 1,000 things to me, I need him to be sober, healthy, functioning, and emotionally available for our kids.
What are you doing to help him, Jessica? And I'm going to be honest with you. You can't do anything to help him. Leave him alone. Even if he doesn't want to see the kids, you take care of the kids. You take care of the cries and the where's my daddy and why can't I see daddy. You deal with that. You deal with that as an adult. Not with Jason and the way he handles things. You deal with that and you let dad go through his rock bottom, his recovery, whatever it is that he needs. But you thinking you can save this situation after you've created all this, you are wrong.
And I don't want anything bad to happen to him. No one is threatening him or trying to harm him.
He didn't get his way, so he was
very aggressive.
It's not a tantrum almost, tantrum.
It's so normal. Like it's not normal. It's not normal. It's very consistent with this kind of personality type, and
I've never seen it. I see one time go tantrum. He's gonna do something else and he changes the whole tune. Open the door.
That was insane for me. That was a horrible night. Yeah. We were just thinking that everything was fine. He got crazy eyes. And I'm like, please, no one. Everyone love everyone.
I know he's got a warrant for the.
This man tried to kill you in your bathroom. Tried to kill you in your bathroom. Please love everyone. Ma'am, no.
Domestic battery, because I was here when it was issued and all that stuff, and we were talking to the cop.
Well, the charge is assault. The warrant is for assault.
Yeah, he's like, I can't tell you what I see on the rest of me. We know what it is.
Well, all I can say is that if I see him, he's going to jail.
To those
Jason sure is on that porch a lot at night.
you love, you're everything.
He's very heavily involved.
To provide exceptional compassion.
He is an Army veteran, first on the ground in Iraq. He has episodes. He has PTSD episodes.
Reese is an Army veteran, first into Iraq during the war. These mean things, you're just spitting them out. Like, he wears black shoes on Sunday. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. PTSD is real, very real. You're minimizing that because of what you do. You're minimizing that these are true issues. I am not going to minimize that he has been abusive to you, verbally, financially, whatever. I'm not going to minimize that, but don't minimize that this man has a problem, and that could be the problem for his drug use, could be the problem for what's fixing to happen. You know these things. You were with him. You created a child with him. So to act like now it's like, he wears black shoes on Sunday. Think about what you're saying to all the people out there suffering that have been in this situation he's been in.
So they are scary.
After getting his way, he left off angry, upset, like throwing tension kind of, you know. And I don't know what he's gonna do. Don't receive him, you know, he's whatever. So I.
Okay, I need to re-listen to this real quick. Very low for me. I hope people can hear it as well. This is what started.
Veteran, first on the ground in Iraq. He has episodes. He has PTSD episodes. They are scary.
After getting his way, he left off angry, upset, like throwing tension kind of, you know. And I don't know what he's gonna do.
After he didn't get his way, where did he not get his way? Why did you not know what he was going to do? You're leaving, this is edited, you're leaving very important information out. My hair, do y'all know something about static? Help me out here. I'll take any advice on hair static. So you're making this story the way you want it to be. You're not making it to make sense for the layperson to understand the timeline, because you've been all over the place. And I think there's a reason for that. That's a personal opinion. But so now you're going to tell us, I want people to understand somewhere in this time that all this is going down. Jessica lives in Illinois, and this is not to, it's just, I need you to know there's a distance issue here. They all were in Illinois. Reese left and moved to Arkansas, got an apartment in Arkansas. In her last video, she says a big fancy high-rise apartment in the middle of the city. We're going to hear in a little bit, it was the ground floor apartment. So explain yourself, Jessica. This is the inconsistencies that people hear and the triggers that go, what? That doesn't correlate with what you said last time. So, but Reese is in Arkansas.
You know, he's whatever. So I find a friend of mine that he knew, seen video chats and stuff, who's a fellow vet too, who knows what that shit's like. And he said, hey, I'll drive out there for him, you know. I'll go just check out, make sure he's okay. Well, you know, the dude's Matt's a pretty big guy, he's the nicest, sweetest.
He seems this massive big guy, but he's the sweetest. Do we know people's personality, or is it the look on first impression? And first impression is he's a massive guy. This is his words. This is Jason's words. You're in Illinois. You are in the home with Jessica. There's no reason in my mind to think that you're not safe, Jessica's not safe, the children aren't safe. So you reach out to somebody who Reese has seen on a video chat that you were talking to, not that Reese was talking to send them for a wellness check. Wellness checks are done by the police, just like the ones that came to Jessica's door that you fought with. That's a wellness check. That's what you do. It's documented. It's through the police department. You can say it's a false thing and have a record of it. You're trying to do this like a gangster, like you are. Pay attention.
He's a squishmallow, whatever it is, but he is soft-spoken, you know, and
he's the most non-threatening person that he could find, you know, and the one single time he was
the most non-threatening person he could find. For what? You've still yet to lay out the reason of why you did this to Reese. You did this to Reese. Everybody's going to be mad. I get it. Come in my comment sections, give it to me. Jessica, you can give it to me. You did this to Reese. Here's the problem. When someone's doing something to you, the abuse, the antagonistic things, the sending the repeated wellness checks to your home, doing all these things, you're on the right side of things. You have a documentation. You have what you need to make this stop. You do. Will it take some time to work through the justice system or through the family courts or what have you? Absolutely. But you have to stay on the right side of this. You have to. Now you're doing this and you're now saying, oh, you picked the least threatening person. He's a big guy with a little voice. He's a squishmallow. We all know what squishmallows are. They're kind of a chunky little stuffed thing that are really squishy. And I get the analogy you're putting out, but what do we see first? The big chunky thing. We don't see the little soft voice squishmallow. You are creating a problem. You are. You put it on the internet. It's here for me to look at. And you want me to go, oh, poor Jessica. No, ma'am, I can't. I feel sorry for you for the things that you've been through. But if you're going to instigate and antagonize and put it back, I can't feel sorry for you. You just got through telling us he's a vet with PTSD in Iraq. He's home from Iraq. I think y'all understand what I'm saying. I mean, you just told us this, and then now you have to send somebody who he doesn't know, but he's seen him on a voice chat stop.
Was checked on it was from a non-threatening person, not law enforcement at the door, and he knows he has a warrant. He's not gonna call cops. Jason's not gonna call cops. So he didn't want to do that. He didn't want him to feel intimidated or threatened. He wanted to just make sure that he was okay.
Somebody knocks on the door. Reese opened the door and they start talking. And he's like, hey, Reese, like, yeah, he's like, I'm here, to check on you, make sure you're doing all right. Jason sent me over here. And as soon as he heard my
Jason is aggressive. Jason has ripped the camera off of his home. Jason has beat on his doors with the police there and said he was going to kick it in. Pay attention to what Jason says. This is prior to all of this. His interaction with Jason may have been friendly at one point, but now Jason's sleeping with his ex and defending her. Jason is now the enemy, no matter what kind of friend they were before. You can't be trying to convince us that this is okay.
My name, he lost his shit, kind of, I don't know. But he told my friend to leave. He turns around instantly, he walks away. At this time, I did not know he was pointing a gun at him, because we got video of it, we're going to show it.
Mm-hmm.
He held his composure pretty good at the door, and
he told him to leave, and he turned around and walked away. You're going to show us a video here in a little bit, but that doesn't really show what we saw, because what happens with it, it's edited.
He's walking away, and I guess he hears the door close behind him. He thinks it's over. He just walks through his truck, and next thing you know, Reese follows him down the stairs or outside in the parking lot.
Yeah, he's on the ground level.
Yeah, out the parking. He calls him to the parking area and fired around.
Just out the thing because he's on the ground level. But the last video, he was in a very luxury, high-rise apartment complex. Seriously, Jessica.
In front of 3 witnesses.
And goes back inside and won't open the door for the police to show. I mean, he was not being threatened. The guy was leaving. You'll see the video. He's walking away here. I'm like, hey, what was that? I know what it was. I just want to hear him say it, because
he has no way.
I was just come check on you. Jason, let me check on you. Just check on you. Make sure he's all right. Okay.
Tell me, stop.
Pay attention. I just come here to check on you. Jason sent me to check to see if you're all right. I'm all right. Okay. Tell him to stop. Jason says, tell him to stop. Watch. Jason went there with aggression, sent someone to be his mouthpiece, to tell him to stop. So you didn't send him there for a wellness check in his personal safety.
Just check on you. Make sure he's all right. Okay.
Tell me, stop.
Okay.
1:08
Call the cops.
1:08 a.m. You send someone that's friends with my ex. My ex never ended up in another relationship, so I can't say like their girlfriend or wife or anything like that. But I'm just saying, if someone comes up to my door today and say that person sent them, we got problems. It's going to trigger. I have PTSD. It's going to trigger me for fight or flight or fawn. You know the drill, Jessica. You studied psychology, remember? This is ridiculous for you to think that we're supposed to believe that this was a good thing and you did this for him. You cannot think that this is okay.
Tell them to call the cops. What's that? Hello? Huh? What is it? What happened? I can't hear you. Something about a gun? What? What? He can't have a gun, man. He can't have a gun. He got a fucking warning shit. He can't have a gun.
So now you're concerned with he can't have a gun. He can't have a gun. He can't have a gun. Are you kidding me? You can't be serious. You can't be serious. Should Reese have done what he done? No. But you just told us he has PTSD. You just told us you're aggressive. You just told us all these things. And now you want us to believe that. And he didn't come to your porch at 1:08 a.m. and pull a gun and shoot it into the air. He didn't. You sent this man to his home. Call the police. Do a wellness check.
Hey, so I wanted to just pop in here and explain to you guys what you're hearing, because you have to.
Yeah, because you have to come back and try to clear up some of this, because it looked really bad. Jason over there yelling, call the police, before the gun incident. Tell him to call the police. Tell Reese says he's going to call the police. Tell him to call the police for having me have this guy come to your door at 1:08 a.m. in the morning. Tell him to call the police. Are you kidding? Yeah, you cleared up, Jessica. Go ahead.
Kind of listen close, or you have to listen to it a few times to really get it. So my ex opens the door with the gun in his hand. And what you hear that first bang. So he had a chain on the door. You hear him close the door, remove the chain. And
these are hard. Remember, it's on video. It's on video. We're going to show you the video. Yes, we just heard and saw the guy's face in a FaceTime, but you're not showing us that this is what happened. We can't deny that some of this happened, but this is your interpretation and what you want us to believe, but you don't want us to question you. Not at all.
And open the door. Now it takes 2 hands to cock the gun, so he chambers around, cocks it, and tells him
it doesn't take 2 hands to no ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. Ask Jason. If Reese has he has the ability to take that and rack that slide on his pants, on the door jamb. You know. He could have used 2 hands. We didn't show it. You didn't show it to us in a video. He could have used 2 hands, but he also could use 1. It can happen.
If he comes back, he's going to call the cops. Now the audio does kind of go out a couple of different times, and you can't really hear anything. But if you look at the time, this happened, in a minute. In 1 minute, it escalated for absolutely no reason. So you can see Matt walking out of the building, and
think about a minute, and until you actually sit with a timer on for a minute, you're like, a minute. A minute's fast. A minute's just happen, right? But a minute's a long time. It is. When you're in that scenario, in that situation, and to Reese, it may have felt like an hour because of how triggered he was from his PTSD of a man that is screwing his girlfriend to send another man to his door at 1:08 in the morning. Not a problem.
that is where my ex follows him and fires around. No one that is emotionally stable does something like that. I don't care.
No one who's emotionally stable, he's not. He may never. He may come to a place of acceptance and comfort, but to be emotionally stable, he may never be. He has PTSD, from combat, Jessica. You can't be serious that you're selling these 1 million people plus this bullshit. You can't.
Or if you were woken up or not. I don't care if you were irritated or not. I don't care if you're drunk. There's just no excuse to do what he did.
There's no excuse for you to have your boyfriend send a man to his home in the middle of the night. Do you understand that?
You can speculate intent all day long. You can say that he had him checked on for the wrong reasons, but no one made him fire that gun. You know, and whether he was sent over to check on him to irritate my ex or not.
Whether he was sent over to irritate my ex or not.
It doesn't make what he did okay.
And no matter what people think, what your opinion is of what happened, whether I did to irritate him, did the
I don't want you to think that what Reese did was okay. I do not. I think Reese needs help. I think Reese needs medical help. You just you re-traumatized him. Do you understand that? I'm not defending Reese. Please, I don't want anybody to. PTSD is real. You knew it existed before this happened. And you re-traumatized him in the safety of his home. Had the police knocked at the door, that's a whole different scenario. If things went south from there, that's on Reese. I'm sorry. But for you to send a stranger to his home at 1:08 a.m., you had to show us that. You had to, because it fits your timeline somehow. I am so upset with you, Jessica, that you think that we should believe this line of bullshit and that you did the right thing and that you're in the right here. You are so wrong. And you, let me make it clear. I don't want anybody to do anything with CPS or any of that. She will face whatever consequences are needed to be faced in the family court. But I sure hope that they see this. I sure hope that they know what you've done. You can try to get him locked up for as long as possible so he has so much time. He hasn't seen the kids in 5 years. I can hear it now, Jessica. Are you kidding me?
really check on him or not, it doesn't matter. His mask came off. He exposed himself to the person he really is, you know? And, you know, I'm sure you people at home or people, whatever, when you're in that situation and the cops show up, your whatever, your abuser always puts on a friendly guy thing and the cops are all buddy talking in front and you're irate because you just went through some abuse and then you're irate because the cops doesn't you. And I know how it is, you know, when people show up to see.
And I've been there. It's so frustrating. I get that you're irate, but she's not irate. You're irate. Do you understand that that's not Jessica being irate? It's not. It's you being irate.
For me, that wasn't what happened to me. You know, he's that's me in draining away. So I get it. You know, but I get it. So he got exposed.
From the #1 professional hair brand, Redken's acidic bonding.
Was that your goal all along? To expose him? He got exposed?
So there are pages 1 through 18. I'm just going to show you page 1 is a no contact order now that I don't know if the state put on them. I don't know if the state automatically does it.
And he should have that. He should. He fired a gun as someone he didn't know. There's more facts to it and you know it, but this is legit. This is a thing that should happen. This is, you know, that guy needs protection now because why? Because Jason sent him to a man's house with PTSD and you knew it.
That in cases like this, but it is a no contact order. So my ex is not to contact Matt. And did we say they have talked before? He knew who he was. They've talked before. Okay.
Keep filling your storyline, Jessica. Keep filling it.
So no contact order. Page 2 of 18 is, again, no contact order. You were ordered to not be in possession of firearms, ammunition, alcohol, or legal or controlled substances, which again is in my no contact order with him as well. So
but the cop said he was drunk and had a firearm.
Jessica's no contact order. Let me just say I've had no contact order. I've had years protective orders. I had the original, you know, they call them different things. Restraining order in Texas, or restraining orders first, and that's like a short term until you can get a court date, and then you either get one or you don't, or they could extend it to another court date. But I had the original ex parte, then I had a temporary, and then I had the full protective order. So do you know what's in there, Jessica? For you not to contact him, for you not to send third parties to his home, to his job, to call him, to do threatening, harassing things. This should be on you, Jessica. This is something you should have to face charges for. He is wrong. He is wrong. But you did this to him.
So you broke the no contact order again.
correct. Page 4 is the affidavit of probable cause. This is where they are proving that they had a reason to obtain the search warrant. After an extensive investigation, the defendant, the client was arrested on May 21st, 2023 for aggravated assault, Class D felony, possession of a controlled substance, Class D felony, discharging firearms within city limits, and unclassified misdemeanor. The fact of this investigation are set out in the arrest report.
A controlled substance is a controlled substance, whether it's steroids, cocaine.
Okay. Controlled substance is a controlled substance. Jessica, it's going around that you were taking Adderall without a prescription. You were taking Xanax, Klonopin, Valium, one of those, benzos, without a prescription. Those are controlled substances. Those are mood and mind altering medications. I don't want to excuse Reese for the steroids, but he wasn't on meth. He didn't have a meth lab in his house. And you yourself have used controlled substances.
And heroin, crack, meth.
Yes.
They're all controlled substances.
Steroids,
They have them.
steroids are drugs.
Yes. So everybody's like, oh, this
It's
is
not a
good.
drug. It is. And it changes the way that you function on the day-to-day. It really, truly does. Roid rage is not some like mythological thing that doesn't happen. That's a very real thing. Putting more testosterone into
Okay, hold on. And I'm not, no denial. It's just illegal in me. Do we have a blood test on Reese? Do we know that he actually used these steroids? We see Reese, he's built up. I would venture to guess he has used them. Not trying to, but you keep saying these things that we're just supposed to believe you. Everything you say about him, about you, about Jason, about Matt in Arkansas, we're supposed to believe these things, but we don't have proof that he used these substances, do we? He had them in his possession. He did. But do we have proof that he used them?
your body, then naturally comes into your body, can make you aggressive and irrational. All the compounds listed in here is just a fucking perfect storm for him to act erratic. Plus mental health.
Have you pulled up what's in Adderall? What it can do to someone who doesn't need Adderall? Asking for a friend.
Conditions and alcohol. It's just a perfect storm for not a good situation. My ex was arrested at like 9 p.m. and by midnight or 1 a.m. or so, the cops were on my door to check on the children. If his dad thought that the kids were in danger, he could call me. He could video chat. Anyone could call.
His dad. Why are you bringing his dad? We're all concerned for you. I will not call for a wellness check. I beg for anybody watching this to not call for a wellness check. But in my heart of hearts, do you need a fucking wellness check? You do. You do. Because it's sitting across the couch from you.
Call me or video chat and they don't. And I didn't even believe his dad called. I didn't think it was his dad until I saw the booking sheet and the time of arrest. The time of arrest was 9 p.m. Well, my ex was in jail at 9 p.m. and the cops were at my door at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So it makes me think that his dad really did call the cops instead of just checking on me. And in the police report, it says he believes that we drove down there to set him up, right? That's not what happened. But again, this is a
No, you didn't have to because you had Matt to do it. But you still set him up. He is responsible for his own actions. These actions would not have happened had you didn't send this man to his door.
continued pattern of abuse and violence and recklessness. And
There'll be more. There'll be something else that happens. It's not over yet. Yeah, a lot of court date going on.
yeah, and every court date is pushed off or whatever, and he doesn't want to come in person because he has a warrant here. He won't pay child support. He won't pay damages.
It's part of the legal system. This isn't Reese doing it. Reese is not doing this to you. This court dates and stuff, that's not happening. That's how our justice system works, especially in family court, especially.
It's just an ongoing thing.
Trying to say something about the motorcycle, the alleged motorcycle was was split in half for damages and stuff. You know.
Yeah, he's trying to negotiate the money the judge ordered me for damages when he held me hostage.
And we were moving stuff out of the house. We cleaned up. You know, we cleaned up. You see me yesterday.
Where's this police report for when he held you hostage? Where's this order for the damages? Did he agree to the order, or was this something that you had a hearing and a court case and the judge determined that all this happened? Because I have one of those. Do you have one of those? Can we see it? You're showing everything else. You're showing Reese's legal documents. Can we see yours?
Well, I said, I don't need a mess.
I couldn't get to know it.
No, but
I don't steal. I don't steal. I don't move maliciously. I want what is mine. If I can get it, if I can't, it's just stuff. Just wanted to.
No, you have Jason to come and take it for you. If that's, please make this stop. Make the madness stop, Jessica, because you know this is a lie. It's a lie. I cleaned the dishes. You almost lightened up there. Oops, I'm on camera.
I'm not going out of my way to harass or hurt him, and it is my belief that he is moving that way.
It's getting late. It's time for me to get out of here. You know, I gotta go. It's Saturday night, and I got things to do.
Okay.
Can you wrap this up?
I will wrap it up.
Can you wrap it up?
I'll wrap it up.
well, if I see everybody again, I'll be back. It's like, I have a lot more to say. And
Your story is better though.
yeah.
Do you want to talk about your hands and your medical stuff before you go?
I'm going supposed to have surgery for bilateral and lateral.
Don't say.
Yeah.
So it's bilateral.
I really want to fast forward through this, but because the accusations towards Jason and her accusations towards us that we're going to make him relapse when he has admitted to relapsing to another YouTuber and that he went to rehab and Jessica knocked him in the eye. So now let's hear the medical.
Carpal tunnel, and I think also rheumatoid arthritis with just a lot of stuff. I forget what Joey calls it. I think it's like complex regional pain
Notice she's given this more attention than the PTSD
syndrome. And I know the last video was taken down with you, and I'm just protective. I'm just really fucking protective. Like, you don't have to explain your health stuff.
My hands are messed up. Plus, I got permanent weaker hands.
Do you think your parents weak?
Sometimes like my mouth twitches and shit. And people say I'm high on that high.
It's aggravating.
I'm high. I'm really high. I wouldn't be on camera.
You wouldn't be around me.
I'd be gone. But yeah, my hands are messed up. I constantly got rubbing stuff. They're swollen. I'm gonna have surgery. We got the paperwork for that too because everybody's saying they're lying and shit.
We got the paperwork for that. Jessica, do you have the paperwork for his PTSD? Because we all know it exists, even without having to have paperwork. He went through trauma. He went to war. Think about that.
It's funny because people are trying to test motherfuckers in prison where paperwork is king. So I don't ever say nothing about the paperwork. I don't ever do nothing about the paperwork. I have to have the fucking proof. And just because Bob said Jim did this, it didn't happen, and you learn that stuff when you're in prison. So I have tons of paperwork.
So he needs the paperwork. He needs the proof. He needs to know that things happen, but we question you and we're a whole ass problem. Gotcha.
All my cases, everything I tell you is the truth. You don't notice how bad you're messed up when you're out there running around doing that shit. Because you're medicating and doing whatever, allegedly. But once you come off that stuff, man, your
Allegedly.
body just starts taking its toll,
And you're not like a spring chicken. You're older. So there's natural things that your body's gonna go through. He hates hearing that.
Like I was on a shelf for 10 years. I sat. I worked out, ate good. Yeah, for a good time. So you see me, I got no quit in me. You thought when I was gonna move all that furniture by myself, I'm carrying tables and stuff around, I was gonna get tired.
Ooh, here's our big strong man. Big strong man.
And I just didn't stop, did I?
Yeah, that's called mania.
Yeah.
People are gonna say it's drug addiction, but
No, the cops would be like, maybe we get tired, but no. It was funny. I was seeing the two officers with weapons asking her to control me when I'm around doing stuff.
I'm like, you know, I'm gonna help him with anything because maybe he'll get a little tired.
Two officers were asking her to help control me. You put this stuff out here for us. You say these things.
And calm down. No. And I know why you're frustrated. I know you're mad. He physically hurt me. He emotionally hurt me.
He hurts his kids. There's a video. I got a video where I was going to grab him and drag him to Chuck E. Cheese. I'm going to the house, pull him out of his house and bring him to Chuck E. Cheese because his daughter's saying, I'm not going to spend none of my time with my dad gets here.
I went to pull him out of his house because his daughter was saying, I'm not going to spend any of my tokens until you have a protective order. You've had a protective order. There's snow on the ground. So I'm assuming these are in the winter months why is he going to drag him out of the house? And every time he keeps saying he was drunk, he had a beer in his hand, and it's highly possible, but where's that documentation too?
And I couldn't take it. I was just, I'm going to get her. She said, don't hurt him. I'm not. I went to the house, I beat on the door, and he's fucking drunk inside the house. Wouldn't come out the house.
The night before, we're all hanging out.
Hanging out, buddy, yeah.
The night before we were all hanging out, buddy. Timeline, Jessica. Timeline. Before the protective order? Wait, that was you left in October. You were crying in the bathroom. You got a new house. Do you see the problem here? But you were hanging out with him the night before, all buddy. With your boyfriend? Explain.
The next day, he goes and gets Mindy and brings her back here just to make me mad because he was mad that I would even dare send you over there to try to get him to go to Chuck E. Cheese. He was mad. He was embarrassed that he looked bad to Jason and didn't want, to seem like he didn't want to be seen the way that he really is, and like we've said this whole time, that mask is.
Maybe he didn't want to see you with your boyfriend that was his buddy for a year while they were drugging it up. I mean, these are all opinions, accusations, my conspiracy. But this is what you just told us for this whole 45 minutes of talk here. So you're wrong.
The mask is pretty good. And
when hanging out with us, like when hanging out with me back then, we were always out doing stuff, and he couldn't keep the mask with me. He says we're like, no, they were like, no fucking way.
He said the same thing. We're like, and his ex was so crazy, and the only way that he could win this game is if he stopped playing the game. And I believed him. I believed that his ex was all of the things.
Same. I had this issue with my ex's ex and believing what he said about her. We're best of friends now today. So if that tells you anything, I can agree with this. But why are you discussing this online? Why is this part of Reese's story that exonerates you for this gun and drugs, steroids in his home. Like, you're all over the place. You're just throwing shit at a wall and trying to make it stick.
You know, because I didn't have the knowledge of the abuse I'm experiencing back then, you know.
There's some stories he told me about you, like when I have seen people following all that shit, and we're going to hotel looking for him, I'm bringing my guys over there, fucking, you know, and it was all a bunch of bullshit. It was all just a bunch of smoking mirror type shit.
Yeah, smoking mirrors. Like, I am not the crazy baby mama, and I believed him about this girl because I just believed everything he said. And there's one specific thing where he would say she can't ever have my phone number. Every time I get around her, I'm checking my wallet to make sure my wallet's not stolen, and she can only email me. And that's what he did.
That's what he did to me. Not me. I'm talking about Jessica. It's just, what does this? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm blinded by the PTSD and the man at his door and all that's happening and no real receipts. And, you know, did he shoot that gun? Did he have stuff in his house when they went in with a search warrant to find the gun that was used? Absolutely. So no denial. None of that would have happened if you didn't send this man to his house. So now why are we talking about his ex-baby mama before you, whatever, you know, why?
To me, like, I can only communicate via email, which I don't, there's no contact order now, and that's been changed many times, and I know this is super.
Sorry. He said to the ex, we can only communicate by email, which is what he wants from me now, but we have a no contact order. Let me tell you, first of all, you still can contact for your children. There's different ways to go about it. But if you're in this level of toxic situation, and I think Jessica's just as toxic, that's my opinion. You can be mad. I mean, she's not making anything easier for herself. So that's toxicity. Don't blame her for some of the beginnings, but she's not making this any easier or making it to where it's going to get any better. It's not. Email. If you are in a toxic situation, if you have children especially, please, I beg of you to only communicate through email. Only through email. Or there's Talking Parents and Our Family Wizard. Our Family Wizard you have to pay for. It's like $100 each parent a year or something. I'm not sure. I haven't had that service. I never did. We have been able to go through with the email and do it that way. First of all, it's documented. These text messages can be manipulated. These text messages can be only show these screenshots and these, and timestamps are hard. I mean, they're there, but it's hard to translate all this. Do it through email. It will have the date, the time, all that at the top, the to, the from, all of it's there. Everything you need is in the email. It also makes you, I was so triggered to see his name pop up on my phone. It was like being punched all over again every time it would pop up with that name. And I'd be reactive to the, leave me the hell alone. Why are you doing this to me? You know, it never stopped the fight or flight in that response. So going to email made it to where I could read it. I could close it. I could reread it. I could not read it. You want to read them eventually, you know, you take some time, take a deep breath, you know, it's there. You see their name in your inbox, you know, it's not the same as popping up on your phone. It's totally different. Trust me. It'll get better. Go to the email. But it gives you time to reflect and to say, is this about the children? Is this necessary? Do I have to answer all of this? Is this them pushing my buttons? Is this necessary to, you can pick out, yes, we'll be there at 6 p.m. on Friday as scheduled. You know, it helps with your reply. It helps to limit the contact. It helps. So by him asking to go through email, I see nothing wrong with that. You see that as a problem. You want contact with him, your abuser, that's a problem. So go to the email, try it out. It may be the best thing that ever happened to you. The less, I'm telling you, and title it Mr. So-and-so, not Reese, not so-and-so's daddy, not my ex, you know, just do it as a business email and only deal with the business of your children and you'll see a change.
Confusing, but I see everything so clear now because everything he said about his ex is now what he's saying about me, and everything he said about us both, that's what he's doing. And it's like,
Well, you guys do like a book, like book of like day 1, day 2, day episode.
hopefully this video isn't too long. Hopefully it all makes sense. I'm not in any way trying to hide anything. I did want more time before I said anything about who, what, when, where, and why, only because
Too much time. We've already heard who, what, where, when, why, but you haven't explained why you sent a stranger to a man's house at 1 a.m. with PTSD.
2 different parole officers had to be notified first before things went public. I didn't have the police report until 10 minutes ago.
Also, want to say everybody put their foot in their mouth too. Yeah,
It is.
I did at least, you know.
It is a little ridiculous to see content creators making videos about me and having their people harass me on the daily. You know,
Please do not harass Jessica Kent, even Jason Forrester. Don't do it. There's many other places you can vent in my comment section. You can vent on Nicole's. You can vent on Wildflower Tea. There's some great content creators that are covering this. Vent away. Do not do it to Jessica Kent, please.
my goal is to educate, be transparent, but that transparency does not mean that you're entitled to every single intimate detail of my life. I'm doing what I can in my own pace, when I can, and how I see fit, and I will continue to do that. So,
And just for the record, I want to say this: if you think she can tell me I can't do something or do something, you gotta mess up. I do walk over her on a lot of things.
Listen to that again.
She gets mad about, but you know what?
I didn't know you were doing a wellness check.
You know, she's not gonna tell you. She's just not.
I'm deep. How I see fit, and I will continue to do that. So,
And just for the record, I want to say this: if you think she can tell me I can't do something or do something, you gotta mess up. I do walk over her on a lot of things. She gets mad about, but you know what?
I didn't know you were doing a wellness check.
I didn't know you were doing a wellness check. She can walk. She thinks she can control me. She can't. I can walk over her. I didn't know you were doing the wellness check. Why is this man still sitting in your house? Why are you putting Reese out here like this? If this was done behind your back, you should be pissed. You should be mad that this happened to your child's father without you knowing and causing you all these problems.
She's not gonna tell you. She just stop me.
I'm debriefed
You'll be-
the next day. Like I'm told.
No, you always told when it goes south. If it goes good, I'll tell you. If it goes south, I gotta tell you because you might get backlash.
What the hell? What the hell, Jessica? Why is this? Why is this? All the edits, all those little blips in your where you edited this together. Why is this still here? Do you think this helps you? Why is it? My dog is snoring. Why is this in here?
Everything's doing right.
I mean, I probably would have told you no about the
You
wellness
told me
check.
no. You told me about everything I've ever done. Everything I've ever tried to do, she told me no.
Think whatever you want. I know my truth and my story, and I don't want to. I don't know. I didn't want to talk to the people that I knew he was manipulating, but now it's like we should talk.
Think what you want. It's my story. Let's have the truth, Jessica. It's it's between there and there, between his and yours. Your story has been ripped to shreds. And then you wait till the very end of all of this to say, I didn't know you were going to do this. And I probably would have told you not to had I known beforehand. But yet he still sits on that couch with your children in that home and in the middle of the night on your porch when the police are coming for wellness checks. They need wellness checks. Again, do not send anybody to Jessica Kent's home. Don't go to her comment section. Don't do it, please. I beg of you. These kids deserve better, Jessica. The kids deserve better than what you are doing. And you are sitting here condoning what this man on your couch in the red shirt has done, knowing that Reese has PTSD, knowing that that was a problem. You know it's a problem.
Talk. We should get on the same page. We should have a team meeting because one person is causing a lot of
Divide and
tension.
conquer.
Yeah, and that's what he's done for a long
And the
time.
15 people that are in my
One person causing a lot of problems is sitting right there across from you, directly across from you in the home that you share with your children.
head talking right now. They're all in me. So
Yeah, I wish we talked sooner. I wish I talked to the neighbor sooner. I wish I talked to his ex sooner. Even though
he puts stuff out there and he makes it sound so convincing. And then I tell you, check. You're like, no. We go check. It's like, oh, he's lying about some fucking thing. He's printing papers of lawyers lying. There's so much shit going on.
I found out that he hid a BMW for me.
He's watching all of what's going on with YouTube. And why are you so concerned about this? Protect this woman, protect her children, protect the home that you're setting in by all means. when you step out the door, when you're on the front lawn wanting to fight somebody, when you're sending people to their home, you're the problem. You have to stay on the right side of things for it all to work out the way it's supposed to work out. You're messing this up.
Since 2016. I mean, right after our daughter was 6 months old, and he bought a BMW that I knew nothing.
He bought a BMW that I didn't know about. For who? For his dad? For his girlfriend? For, you know, this story makes no sense. I'm going to let you listen to what she says, but he bought a car and hid it from me. Who did he buy it for? Where was it at? Was it in your driveway? Was it in his dad? Was it, you know, you make all these accusations, but was a hooker driving it? I mean, I don't care, because what does this make any sense to your story now?
Nothing about. He had a whole separate life.
Before he moved here. Yes, you bought a BMW before you guys moved here.
He bought a BMW in Illinois in 2016. We didn't move to Illinois until 2018, and I can't comprehend that. I'm shocked by that. Yeah. So anyway,
Credit card fraud. He's always telling everybody that he's doing credit card fraud. They sold cards and stuff. And I got the text message where he's taking somebody money in Cash App. You ain't trying to talk Cash App, Daddy. Come on, you're not getting away with this shit, buddy. You're not getting away with this shit. You keep pushing. All you gotta do is come see your kids at very trustworthy and happy. You want to be.
You're not getting away with this shit. You're not getting away with this shit. You're not getting away with this shit. What are you going to do, Jason? Are you going to threaten some more people? Are you going to threaten Reese? Are you going to threaten YouTubers? Are you going to threaten to dox people? Are you going to threaten people to be sent to prison for sharing the story that they went through? What are you going to do, Jason?
Well, it's tactical games, but guess what? I'm a good opponent. I like the games. I can't sit still. My mind wanders all day long. I need stuff to do. You know that. I'm manic as hell.
I'm good at playing the game. My mind wanders all day long. I need something to do. This is a game to him, Jessica. This is your life, your children, and this is a game to him.
Like fucking how we sleep, and I love the drama.
I love the drama.
Pretty that way.
I am the complete opposite. I really am so introverted, and I would rather just not talk to someone than go through the drama. But anyway, we're ranting and raving. We're gonna be back with Jason so we can tell his story, and it breaks my heart that I deleted the first one because I love it.
Does anybody have the headache I have? I laugh because I want to cry. I did cry at some point. You saw it. And it's not to protect Reese, but please somebody explain to me. Reese is in another state and you send a stranger to his home. We weren't trying to set him up or anything. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. Do I think Jessica's 100% been sober through this whole thing? No, I don't. Were they all using together at some point? I absolutely, after hearing this video, believe that Jason and Reese were using together. Absolutely. But was Jessica involved in it? We can't have poor little Jessica getting involved in anything like that, can we?
That video. And I know now, I didn't know when we were filming that you were manic. I've seen you like that before. I really didn't think anything of it because
So was he manic or was he carpal tunnel syndrome? Lord help me. There's no one here to help me. Arthritis, you know, the documentation of the medical things that they're going to provide for us to show he has receipts and records and stuff. Which is it? Was he manic? Was it residual from the meth years prior? You know, you've came up with like, was that 4 things during this one video?
I have seen you that way, but we really haven't talked about it. So when you said that, when I was editing, I'm like, well, do you want me to put the video up? Yeah, put it up. I like the video because I like the stories.
You know what? I do things. I think hi, I think whatever. I've been through a lot. I talk fast when I'm moving. I mean, I word salad. Says I don't give a fuck.
Me too.
My point gets across.
If you're struggling with addiction, I'm a partner of Groups Recover. I always leave.
Okay. We all know Nicole lost her channel. That's a whole nother issue. And I just really want to like real quickly touch on that. So my understanding is that, where is it at? So Nicole was accused of drug, what would you call it? I'm sorry, Nicole, I'm butchering this for you. Oh, great. Now it won't load. But it was about promoting drugs. Was that this shows up a little bit differently than it did on my phone. When it comes up on my phone, the first thing, medication when you need it. Suboxone is prescribed. So is this not the same thing that they're accusing Nicole of promoting medications? I understand what your situation is, Nicole. I'm not trying to but she just got through saying this. And then here we are with the same, to me, it's the same thing. How is this okay? How is this different? I don't know. Oops, sorry, y'all. So it left me mad, angry, confused, questioning. If you have something to add, it's open, let her rip, but please do not show Jessica any dislike, hate, anything on her channel. She's using that as a negative against us for questioning what she's doing. And I appreciate if you don't do that. I am concerned for the children. That's a personal concern. That's my prerogative. It's not anything I'm going to have like, go check on the kids. No way. Do not do that. Do not do that. Somehow this is going to work out and people will see what she's doing. The people that need to see that's there in that family dynamic, in that situation. And I have a feeling that this will all work out in the end. I appreciate you for being here this long. This has been way longer than I ever wanted it to be, but her video was 45 minutes long. I tried to speed up as fast as possible, but I also had to talk in between in order to transform it and make it my content for you to understand where it's coming from. So as I said, this is my first share. I normally just tell you my opinion, but as you've seen, there was way too much to digest it all and not miss something and give it to you as I see it. So I appreciate you for being here. Hit the like, subscribe, leave the comments. I know that even the Jessica stands will be coming. I know it. But I'm coming from this from a middle ground viewpoint. Jessica has muddied the waters in trying to defend her at all costs, that she was an abused woman and has a right to escape when you bring other entities into your home, other persons into your home that are going to cause this much problem in your situation. So that's my problem with it and my concern with it. So I appreciate you for being here. Thank you. And over an hour. Oh gosh. Way too long. Way too long. Okay. Thank you. I'll see you on the next one.